comfortably, then we'll begin.
Drop the needle!
Here, there we are. Good evening and welcome, everybody. There was a button that didn't go right, but I am so excited to say that the man, the myth, the legend is back. It's Operator Starsky.
Hi, everybody. Hi, very nice to see you.
It's great to have you here again.
Oh, it's awesome to have you back, buddy. We have missed you big time. You know, it's Christmas and all, but there's still stuff to talk about, things going on over there. One thing I wanted to start with right away is when it comes to Christmas time, I've heard stories before where battlefields kind of like shut down for Christmas Day or whatever. Does anybody over there believe that Russian orcs will do anything to, like, you know, honor Christmas? Is it honor? But you know what I'm getting at, Starsky?
There's absolutely no chance Russians will have ceasefire on Christmas, because Russians don't celebrate Christmas on 25th of December. And generally, Christmas doesn't mean anything to them. Russians celebrate New Year. In Soviet times, because people celebrated Christmas and it was a religious holiday, Bolsheviks decided to change holiday. They have their Grandpa Frost instead of Santa Claus, and they celebrate basically New Year. This Grandpa Frost comes every New Year, brings vodka to Russian citizens, and they totally don't respect neither Christmas in December nor in January. It means absolutely nothing to them.
That's a damn shame. Too bad. But to be expected, because, I mean, they don't have humanity anyway. So why would you expect anything less, right?
And from a historical standpoint, typically those kind of Christmas truces were not formal. They were just kind of a thing between troops on both sides that, you know, for today, we're not going to shoot at you and you don't shoot at us.
Right.
There's a very famous one in World War I where actually the troops got out of the trenches, were like playing soccer in the middle of no man's land.
That's what was in my mind, Commander, when I brought this up, because that story is just amazing, right?
Yeah, and then of course the officers found out about it and immediately ordered artillery to fire in the area, because they didn't want the men fraternizing with the enemy, because then they suddenly realized they were fighting a war just to keep royalty on the throne, and who cares if all these, you know, poor peasants die? It's not important.
Exactly.
Yeah, in Ukraine, it's a bit different situation, because a lot of people from Irpin, Bucha, Hostomel fight on the front lines. I don't see them playing soccer with Russians.
Yeah,
you know, I don't think it's possible. The only game possible to play with Russians is, you know, moving target shooting, something like that. Yeah, because if it was some kind of civilized country, civilized army, any country of Europe, if we had some kind of, you know, not opportunity, but let's imagine that we are at war with, I don't know, probably that could be possible, right? Because civilized armies follow rules and stuff, not Russians.
So we should probably, you know, cover a bit of news and whatnot that's going on. Where would you like to take us on that, Starsky? Anything you want to, you know, get into the meat and potatoes of here with us?
Yes, so the biggest news of today is that Kherson was shelled. Kherson downtown was hit by Russian artillery this morning, and unfortunately the number of casualties rose from 5 to 10 killed civilians and 68 wounded. Also in Zaporizhia, due to Russian shelling, a woman died as well. And basically it was a mass murder on a Christmas Eve. So that's another answer to your previous question.
Dear Lord.
Oh, that's terrible.
Well, perfect timing, Claire. You've got a super chat there waiting for you.
I do, for $4.99 from our Aaron Reese. You could fertilize the former USSR with the gift sack Russia earned this year.
Oh,
That-
big time.
ooh, big time. I think I know what you mean there, Aaron.
Yeah, that's a good one, Aaron. Thanks, buddy.
Yes. Thank you very much, Aaron. Yes, that's all.
I don't know if it's just me, but news of attacks right now during Christmas make it even worse, especially with how long it's already been going on for. I just, there's all those Christmas songs about hope and peace and stuff, and they all amount to about bullshit when people want to be pure assholes. Nothing you can do.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree on that. Whenever you think that there's nowhere to fall, Russians still manage to do that. They fall deeper and deeper.
Yes. Starsky, would you say it's fair that it seems to be that after the initial bit of resistance we heard that, there was some Russian people that were like, hey, whoa, we're not totally into this and stuff. It seems to me like there's either the news is not getting out or a lot of them have fallen in line and said, yeah, okay.
Yeah, actually it's true. And more and more people basically get mobilized. They don't protest it, let's say, actively. However, today we know case that today I think 16-year-old boy was mobilized in Russia, and he refused to visit this mobilization office, and he got prisoned.
Wow. I mean, that's pretty young to be throwing somebody in prison because they won't go off and to fight and die for their country. I mean, at least let the person finish growing up, for God's sakes. Holy.
Yeah, I can be wrong. Either 16 or 19 years old. But
still,
the fact is that he was arrested.
Wow. Commander, I know your ability to keep up on things and actually understand them is very high. Anything you want to jump in with here and take us on a little?
I think right now the key is to understand that because of the weather, you're not going to see a lot of dramatic action in Ukraine in the fighting down there. Basically, because there's been so much rain and the temperatures are hovering just above freezing, the ground has not frozen, so you get a quagmire condition. It used to be called Rasputitsa, which was translated loosely as the time of no roads or something like that. But during that period, and it occurs twice a year, it occurs in the fall and it also occurs in the spring when you get the thaw. During that period, you're pretty much confined to operations which are infantry walking at, a foot pace. And you can't really dig trenches too well because, you're dealing with loose peanut butter. Honestly, it's about that consistency if you've seen films of it. And so things are waiting for a hard freeze. Once the hard freeze occurs, then the ground will be solid enough to support mechanized operations again, and we may see something happen. I know there's been speculation that the Russians may be planning to stage some sort of offensive out of Belarus. Honestly, I don't see that happening. I think that's mostly a demonstration / decoy thing that they're trying to force the Ukrainians to deploy forces to watch that area because Lukashenko, what's his name? I'm sorry. The guy
Mr. Potato Head.
Yeah, okay, Mr. Potato Head. That's what his common name in
Oh, I love
global. Anyway, the head of Belarus is so thoroughly despised by his own people that if he commits his army to go fight in this, there's a better than even chance that he'll end up with a Maidan style uprising while his army's off serving at the front. And the number of Russian soldiers they staged up there are hardly sufficient to do what they need to do, because it's about somewhere between a quarter to a third of the size of the force they used originally in trying to take Kiev. And that was when they still had top-end equipment, largely experienced contract soldiers, and had the element of surprise. Now they have inexperienced, untrained recruits and hastily mobilized reservists using Soviet-era equipment. And yeah, it's a surprise that's long forgotten at this point. So I don't see it happening. And I think the Ukrainian territorial forces and reserves would probably be more than adequate to handling whatever they're going to try there. I think if you're going to see major operations, it'll probably occur either in the south or continued fighting up in the northern area, following up on the great successes the Ukrainians achieved earlier with the operations around Kharkov.
It's and with what you were saying about this time of year, the weather and the ground and everything, that must also be an issue, Starsky, when it comes to like civilian issues and power grid restoration and stuff. I mean, there must be a tie-in there, making it so that it's hard for you guys to do all that stuff, right?
I can say that our energy engineers are heroes. Totally heroes, and what they do is completely amazing, and they managed to restore our power grid almost completely, even despite the fact that this recent attack was kind of painful, let's say. Because they hit precisely a bunch of crucial objects of infrastructure, and basically we've spent like 3 days in Hostomel completely without power and without heating and things like that. But they managed to restore everything, and from what I see today, I see that we had no blackouts here in my area. Probably it's because they decided to let people celebrate and do as much as they can, so people have their holiday, right? So they're doing amazing job right now.
I agree so much. Holy. Let's see. We got a super chat in. We'll get Claire in. We're going to say hi to Nick here, and we've got a few questions from Dave. So, hey, Nick, good to have you in, buddy.
Oh, thank you so much for having me, and happy holidays to everybody. Good to see everyone.
Oh,
Awesome.
happy holidays.
Indeed, to you too, buddy.
Oh, thank you.
Here, Dick, we have a super chat from Jean Mark Pagan Owl, a member for 2 months. Boglin 11, German Shepherd 0. By the way, I9TR watch video from Sabaton Christmas Truce official is amazing. The Russian tried to do an Easter truce, but it failed because Gregorian calendar. Okay. Information. I think I get it.
Yeah. Good shout there, Jean-Marc. Awesome. Love it. Thank you very much.
We have one more before I turn it back to you from level 70. Hi, Starsky. How is the construction of the Great Wall of Ukraine along the Belarusian border coming along? I hope you do a video on it one day.
Unfortunately, I cannot do video on it right now for obvious reasons, probably in the future. But we're not only talking about wall, we are talking about multiple engineering constructions, like minefields, for example. So there are walls, there are minefields, there are anti-tank trenches and things like that. I can say that northern border is protected big time comparing to what we had in the beginning of the invasion.
Yeah.
And if Russians decide to attack from the northern direction and try to move into Chernobyl area, for example, once again, they will have severe casualties comparing to February and March.
I love the severe. I love how that was accented when you said it. That was, yeah, take heed, people.
I would have said nasty surprise, except I don't know how it could possibly be a surprise to them. They have to know what's being done to prepare in case they were stupid enough to do this. So,
yeah, that makes sense. Totally. We've got a few questions in, so we're going to go to Dave here and get some audience involvement going on.
Absolutely. Hello, everybody. So let's start with an obvious one. So, Starsky, what are some of your favorite holiday traditions, both now and childhood memories?
We used to gather with my family and have Christmas table. Again, previously we celebrated only in January, but now we have like 2 Christmases in Ukraine. It's in December and January, so everybody's happy. Also Hanukkah, by the way. So it's like triple party. And why do you have to pick one if you can have 3? It's awesome.
I agree.
Yeah. So we like to gather with my family and have like a dinner together and stuff. That's like one of my best memories about my childhood. And basically, it's the very first Christmas I have to celebrate during a war in a in a country that suffers from Russian aggression, full-scale aggression, and it's a bit unusual to me, of course. Probably this year I will celebrate just with my dog, if I have time, of course. I will sleep a lot. Yeah.
Appreciate the sleep a lot. Absolutely.
Yeah. At least you fucking deserve that. So this next one, I could just read the translation, but I'm not going to. It's far more entertaining if I don't. Shrodvich Spokashimch, I welishlik. No, that's not going to work. It's not even a question. Sorry.
Translation.
Translation from Polish.
Dave, it was almost perfect, I swear.
I always made it halfway. Yeah, it only says healthy, peaceful, and happy world. I hope you kick the Russians' arse soon. And that comes from Rad. Thank you, Rad. Rodent asks, what is the hardest part of fighting in winter?
It's freaking cold psychologically. I had most of my deployments in winter, and it's just having to leave, sleep, wake up, eat, shave, and do other things in a freaking cold condition. So this cold follows you everywhere. As soon as you get up and go out of your sleeping bag, and until you go back to the sleeping bag in the evening, if you're lucky. It's just this, you have to suffer this, cold weather, cold temperature all day long. And this is the hardest thing for me because I'm skinny. Skinny people don't like cold,
Mhm.
Yeah,
Amen.
absolutely. So that's probably the hardest thing. Also, Commander mentioned the soil of Donbass. I hate it, literally, because it's not like it is like peanut butter. It can change its shape, form, and abilities. And for example, when it's raining, when you walk, you are getting taller and taller with each step because
Forgotten
it
about that.
it sticks to your boots, and after a while you find it really hard to move your legs because you became like taller, and your legs became heavier, um, and it's crazy. Like, I don't know who created this soil like this. It's, oh my god, we gotta punish this person. um, and of course, when it's cold, like minus 20, minus 30, or like if it's opposite, if it's hot, if it's summer, and the soil is very, very dry, you cannot dig trench in it with your shovel. It's completely impossible. One time I spent 7 hours, and I'm not a lazy soldier. I never was a lazy soldier, but I spent 7 hours trying to dig a freaking toilet. And
Wow.
I only managed to make a small hole as deep as 50 centimeters. And I swear, and my commander, he had a call sign agronome, and he said, I was digging, I was all sweaty, and I said, look at that, it's not a freaking sand, it's a freaking Donbass soil. I don't know how to dig a better hole. And he said, as an agronome, I agree, it's not a sand. And he turned around and went away. Um, so and of course, like between seasons, in the fall or in the spring, when there's plenty of rains and the soil is soaked, it turns into this freaking peanut butter. It's crazy. Of course, you cannot, like, you can try digging trench, but you will just end up with a mud bath, basically. So that's another thing that you have to fight in winter, right? Creating positions. So you probably should always have some kind of friends among engineers, so they can bring you a trench vehicle and create this trench machine and create a trench for you, of course. But again, it's not always possible, because if there are enemy observers or UAVs, they can spot those vehicles and they can coordinate artillery strike on you. So that's another danger.
Yeah, having done some field exercises with the Seabees, I can tell you, if you go out in the winter, that the cold is literally the number one thing you're concerned about, because it just saps all your damn strength. And I mean, we weren't dealing with shell fire and people shooting at us. We had, constant supply lines, so that wasn't an issue. And even so, it was just a big issue for us, because you spent your time running from one tent to another where there was a space heater to try to keep you warm. It was miserable.
Yeah, the only thing that saves us, or rather cheers us up, is when something like this, like when you suffer, from this cold temperature or rain or doing whatever. Like we usually start swearing Russians. We say "Yobana Rusnya," "Yobana Rusnya," and we say it a lot because, yeah.
Oh, on that, we have a few super chats if you guys don't mind. Let me get these out of the way before they get too far in. From Annabelle Pinana, we have a lovely sticker, a pair character dancing under a rain of confetti and taking their hat off to say you are amazing. Thank you so much, Annabelle. From Xavier, since Belarus and Ukraine are not at war, can Ukraine invite Poland or NATO to monitor the border to free up the troops? I think, Starsky, that would be best for you.
From what I remember, President Zelensky wanted to invite OSCE mission, so they would observe this border between Ukraine and Belarus, because Belarus was blaming Ukraine for preparing invasion, preparing their attack to invade Belarus, and President Zelensky invited OSCE mission, so they would stay there and observe the situation. But I don't think I know about further development of this.
Okay, well, thank you for addressing it. Our next one is from Sam, and she's donated from New Zealand another $50 to the cause, and it's all in Ukraine, but I'll translate it because I can't. I would not get it right. Okay. Okay, so she says, Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. And to Russia, go to hell. Lots and lots of love to everyone in Ukraine. Thank you very much, Sam.
Thanks, Sam. That was awesome.
And from Red 77, we have £2. And this is also in a foreign language, which I will not mangle, but I will translate hopefully accurately from Polish to healthy and happy holidays. Please correct me, Red, if I got that wrong, but that's the best I could do with that one. Thank you, everyone.
They're making you work today, Claire. Wow.
Yes. Thank God Google's my friend, or I'd be up a creek without a paddle for sure. All right. Well,
that's awesome. Thanks, everybody. That was really cool. That was awesome. Man, you know now they're gonna make it even harder on you, right? You know what's coming.
Yeah, I know. We just got another one in the chat. You want me to do it or wait? Like we'll do.
Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay. From Ali, my Christmas wish is for Ukraine's liberation. I wish for love, peace, and warmth for every Ukrainian. What a lovely sentiment, Ali. Thank you so much. I'm sure we all can agree on that one.
Oh,
wow. Yeah.
I love Ali's avatar too. Fuck Putin. That's awesome.
Hey.
I'm not sure where we at now, Dave. Was there more questions, or was it just back to us and some blabble blabble?
Tons of questions. I mean, who wants to listen to you blabble blabble anyway?
Yeah, right.
I just wasting an evening. Right. No, honestly, there's so much to ask. I mean, I wanted to ask a little bit on Zelensky's visit to the US this week. And he got a mixed reception. I mean, mostly positive. A little bit of the crowd quite literally couldn't stand for it. What are your thoughts on Zelensky being, first and foremost, outside of Ukraine? Is the war now less of a sort of prominent danger so that he can now afford to be a bit more relaxed, or is it vital that he now starts to expand and starts to travel a little bit more?
I think it's there's nothing wrong about our president traveling finally, and I can say that this visit was totally historical, right? It's a historic event. And on one hand, of course, probably it's a bit safer now because as much as 400 Russian spies were pushed out from Europe during these 9 months. And on the other hand, of course, it's still dangerous because, Russians will try to do everything to eliminate him. And sometimes I think, like in my personal opinion, and I think that all Ukrainians share this opinion, that he should be more cautious. Because, for example, his last visit was to Bakhmut, which is the most dangerous point on the front lines as of today. And I think if Russians knew that he was there, probably they would fire everything, all they had. So that's the answer.
Interesting. Yeah,
Very much.
It certainly seems like. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think one of the key things that needs to be understood is what we saw, which was a speech before Congress. While a good speech, very inspirational, very much from the heart, I don't think that's the real purpose of his coming here. I think the purpose is whatever he discussed with Biden behind closed doors. And it would have been of such a sensitive nature that he couldn't feel free to do that over a secure telecommunications link. So there's something going on. That's why he felt in the middle of a war, it was so important to come here. And that's what I'm waiting to see, is what comes of this visit, if you will.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That is
that's a good observation, by the way. And my observation was, he was always very, very confident about Ukraine being victorious in the end.
Yep.
He's always confident about what he says. Even comparing to Russians, they're like, everybody knows they lie or they're bluffing, right?
Well, there was that one time back in 1742 that a Russian statesman did not lie. Like, I can't remember the specifics, but
yeah. And I think that there was some kind of serious discussion behind the closed doors, and probably they were discussing maybe new weapons that will be delivered to Ukraine, maybe some additional aid to Ukrainian armed forces, things like that.
I sure hope so, indeed. We've got to go to Claire because, wow, do we have some super chats to get ourselves on top of. I love you guys. This has been awesome.
Yes, we do. Okay, let me just get this. Oh, I got to get all the way back up to the top. There's quite a few. Okay, so we left off. Okay, first of all, thank you, Autistic Shield, Santa member, who just donated 5 memberships to the channel. That's really awesome of you. Thank you very much. From our Shield, Matt, M2M, member for 10 months. Some advice for Starsky. Grow some hair and you won't be so cold and make you a better soldier. But I'm only kidding. Haha. In Putin. Okay. Making me say that on YouTube. Okay, thank you. And from D Pel Pal, Starsky, do you really have a cool bunker now?
Yeah, it looks like sauna, basically.
Oh.
It's not, but it looks like one. As for hair, my head never freezes. That's why I'm growing hair in other places. So I take that advantage.
I don't think we want to go any further with that. I think I'll just continue with the supers now, okay? So, Okay, from Annabelle Pineda, Feliz Navidad to everyone. Thank you so much for Larry Barrett. A super sticker for 10. Pair character jumping up and down saying that they're our #1 fan. From Cats, Puck Button, Slava Ukraine. Okay, and I have another translation. Hold on a second. Let's see. Oy.
I
This
don't even
isn't.
know how I'd try to pronounce some of those. Wow.
It's Polish. I'm getting there. Hold on. Yeah.
I feel challenged now. I want to come up with some slogan in like
Here it
Slosa
is.
or something.
Yeah, so I think I got it. And please correct me, Red77. But they have said, I hope you kick Russia's ass soon. Merry Christmas. And now I know how to say ass in Polish.
Nice.
It's a good day. It's a very good day. Okay. Well, you live and learn. Okay. I hope I got that right for you, Red. Thank you very much. Okay. I think we're caught up. I think we did it. Yeah. That's it. Okay,
All
back
right.
to you.
Well, we do have one more shout out. Janine in the chat there. The fundraiser for the drone was completely successful. Money was acquired. Drone is being purchased. Way to go, Janine. Awesome job. That's awesome.
I have two more.
Yeah, it's true. Yesterday she messaged me. She was almost crying. She said, "Oh my God, we did it! I'm so happy." And yeah, of course I'm happy too, because guys from the 25th Air Assault Brigade will receive their drone. And it's, a lot of people don't understand how important are those drones on the front lines. And another thing is that they are, even despite the fact that they are so expensive, still they are more or less disposable, because we're losing a lot of them during combat, unfortunately. But we cannot do anything without them.
Oh, congratulations. That's wonderful. We have two more before I turn it back to you guys. From Yuri Bench, we have 35.90 in Israeli shankles. Thank you very much. And from Gloria Raquel, thank you very much for your donation of $20. And now we're done.
No, David Oliver just slipped in as well.
Oh, goodness.
And then I think, and we've got a donation in from, so you're nowhere close to done. Just keep going.
Okay, well, thank you, Red, for becoming a Schiller presence. David Oliver for £10. Merry Christmas, Operator Starsky and the Shills, Slava Ukraini. Wish you all the best from England. And then again, sliding in under from DPEL Pal for $2. Could Fudge be trained to attack orcs on sight? And I have another one from Sam, and I have to translate it first, so give me a minute. Like, Sam.
She's doing this to you on purpose now.
Yeah, she put my name in it. I bet it says, go ahead and translate this or something. It's like, I don't know what
as for Fudge, I think he can be trained to pee on their bodies, of course, but he's a completely peaceful dog. I hardly remember him barking at somebody.
He's the kind of dog that just comes over and puts his head on your lap for some rubs, man.
Yeah, he's a cuddler.
Oh, okay. I could translate this now, but I think Fudge is adorable. But anyway, from Sam, thank you very much. He says, Claire, I'll speak English now because I don't know how to say anymore in Ukrainian, and she's laughing. I can't celebrate Christmas properly knowing what's happening in Ukraine. So I'll do all I can to help make next Christmas safe for everyone in Ukraine. Thank you so much, Sam. I'm sure we all share that sentiment.
And that was $100 Canadian donation.
Wow.
So
thank
you, Sam. Big thanks. We're going to make sure that's used properly too. And then we had somebody became there's a couple more after. Did we get everybody? I got so confused there.
I did. I got David Oliver. Then Red became a member, and we did the other one on the Fudge question. Yeah, we're good.
All right.
Okay. Okay.
Now you just got another one. You just got another one.
Oh, come on. You guys want to keep me up here. Okay, Zoom 1103 for 10. Watching this with my fudge pillow. He's a great companion. Doesn't bark and doesn't even require walks. That's perfect. That's a perfect pet.
Oh, I
Yeah.
love it. I
Yeah.
love it. I love it. You know, we should do a thing for next week. Well, we'll get our Twitter address out for everybody. Tweet in a picture of your Starsky merch or your Shills merch or whatever sitting around the house, and you know, we'll get some pictures out and show. It'll be really cool. I don't even know what our Twitter handle is right now, but you know.
I have my own fudge pillow. The only downside to it is because
You gotta feed it.
You gotta feed it. Sometimes it farts very loud.
What? Oh, God.
Come on, he's a
Wait.
living human. Okay.
Is that an upgrade that you have to ask for extra when you order the pillow? Like,
So if spoken in Old English, he is Futch the flatulent.
oh, I didn't like it on fudge. Poor fudge.
Okay, yeah. So I think we had a few more questions. We were trying to get back to Dave to get a couple of more of the questions in because they usually actually spur some really good conversation around here.
Particularly some questions that are very short to the point from Ali. How's Max?
Good one.
Max is doing great. We talked, I think today. Day's a bit mixed up because, you know, I barely sleep. So he's doing fine. He's in Bakhmut. Probably he will be here soon. Maybe not. We will see.
Oh, that would be good.
Nice. Another one from Matt, M2M. Starsky, does Bogdan want to return to the front to fight? And if he does, would his commanders allow him to fight again?
Yes, I think it's possible. Maybe he will even be transferred to my brigade again, because he served in my brigade before being transferred to this unit that was guarding, defending the Chernobyl power plant. Maybe he will transfer back, but I don't know. He has a son, and in the military we're mostly bachelors, right? So he has a son, and he has a choice whether to continue doing his job, to continue developing his skills as a military, or develop his skills as a father. And I will respect anything he's going to choose.
Sure.
Brave.
Yeah.
Very brave man. There's another one here from Deepel Pal asking, so Starsky now has a cool bunker? ? Exclamation mark. Yeah, give us the story on the bunker. We haven't discussed it.
So I lived in an apartment in Hostomel, and there were two downsides to this apartment. First of all, it was very, very cold. And when we had no electricity and no heating, my dog said, dude, we gotta do something. We gotta get the hell out of here because I'm freezing. And another thing was that I got Starlink. Like, I tried to solve problems as soon as they were appearing, you know, but they started appearing faster than I was able to solve them. One of them was that Starlink, because it adjusts to have the perfect connection with the satellites. For some reason, Starlink decided that staring at the wall of my house is the best way to have connection. And I couldn't convince Starlink that it's wrong. So then I decided to find another apartment and do it very fast, because basically the functioning of the whole press service of my brigade depends on this, on having internet and electricity. So I had to solve a lot of issues very, very fast, and find a generator, and find fuel, and find a new place where I can work. And luckily I was able to do that in about a week, but it was a crazy week. It was completely insane.
Must have been. But, like you say, I mean, it's just an absolute. It has to be so that the message can get out, communication can resume, right? It has to be.
Yeah, absolutely. Now we have a nice place where my dog feels good. He doesn't freeze anymore. And it's basically a very, very safe place. And now I'm completely autonomous. I have stable connection. I have electricity. I have a generator, and basically my press service is now self-sustainable.
Excellent. I know in my own selfish way, it's amazing just because, you're back together and, we get to have streams and hang out and, friendship commence. That's my guilty happiness about it.
Yeah, I agree on that.
Yeah, it's just nice to be able to get together proper again. We should it looks like we should get Claire in because she does have to say goodbye and tend to some Christmas stuff, and her replacement's nowhere near as nice to listen to, but we got Matt.
Wait. Now, I didn't say that, Matt. Just take note. That was not me. That was Nick. Okay.
I heard it. I heard it. Don't worry. It's all good.
Okay.
I don't expect anything better.
Yeah, because I'm thrilled you're here to do super chat.
Well, I didn't vote for him.
All right. I want to do these super chats, and then I'm going to get out of here because it's getting rough. It's getting really rough. This is okay. From D Pale Pal, have you talked to Pasha lately, Starsky?
I didn't, but he lived near to my previous apartment, and I saw him. He's completely fine. He works together with Max on their channel, The Flashback. Yeah, they're doing a great job as well.
Oh, okay. Well, there we go. And from your revenge, for 1790 in Israeli shenkos, are you still accepting fighters for the Foreign Legion? I am a skilled fighter who really wants to join the fight.
Wow.
I think so. You have to contact Ukrainian embassy in your country and check if they want to accept you.
Okay. And on that, I bid you all gentlemen a very lovely holiday. And thank you for having me. And as always, Operator Starsky, I wish you much sleep over this weekend. Hopefully it's not crazy and you can get some rest and enjoy the holidays if you can. Bye, guys. All right. Talk to you all later.
Take care,
Bye-bye.
Claire.
Merry Christmas,
Bye-bye.
Claire. See ya.
Thank you. Happy holidays, everybody.
All right. So let's see here. Oh, well, I think it's probably a good time to do Sam's shout out of the week. Oh, right. I've got to do that whole thing, though. This whole build isn't quite done. And oops, guys don't need to see that. Okay, there we go. Where the hell is it? Oh, here we go. Yay! Starsky, we're doing your buddy Mirko Miroslav Etsy t-shirt shop here. So let me get it to the point where I can actually read what's going on. But This is a great Etsy store to be going to. Friend of Starsky's been on the channel and whatnot, and money's going to support Ukraine. You can see through here, and we got some really cool stuff. Oh, look at that. And there's, lots of good being done with the proceeds out of this store. So we seriously recommend everybody, that can do a little bit of shopping right here. You know what? If I try to spell that off from memory, I'll never get it right. So I will just copy and paste it from the chat you weren't supposed to see, but did for a second. There we go. And I can get the link in for everybody, just to make sure it's a little bit easier on you. Go store and see what you like. But yeah, there's serious, really, really good stuff in here, and you can see there's more pages to go. So something for everybody, something to enjoy, knowing that it's all going to good spots. Sam, shout out of the week right there. Good choice, don't you think, Starsky?
Yeah, absolutely. And because it's an Etsy store, the delivery is usually very, very fast. And Mirko is one of my best friends, best buddies. I remember like the funniest thing when we met, we knew each other through Facebook, and then we decided to meet in offline and have some barbecue and stuff. And he was telling me about his hobbies, and he said I like to jump with parachute, I said, oh, that's nice. Oh my God, I said something like, I like airplanes, and I'm into aviation big time, and I have almost 10,000 hours flying an airplane. And he was like, oh my God, really? I'm like, yeah, in Microsoft Flight Simulator. Yeah, and it was kind of funny.
I actually like that kind of thing very much. I'm more auto sim, but I love that kind of stuff. Let's see here. There was something I wanted to bring up, and I forgot to save the document, so I don't know what it is. I'm going to go on memory. So does anybody want to jump in before I what was it that I said before? It wasn't blather. Oh yeah, blather on, or oh fuck, I can't even remember now.
Yeah, I've got something to blather. Oh no, go ahead.
Oh no, I was just gonna say. Essentially, we have a choice between Dick blathering and Dave blathering. Oh yay, my cup runneth over.
Blather, blather, blather.
Oh, we can bring M2M in here, Matt. You can do a little blather for us.
Yeah, it really is actually blather. It really is. I don't know if you know, but England and Ukraine are going to be playing in Euro 2024 qualifiers on sometime in March. I don't know if they're going to televise it, but it's really great if we can kind of get together with yourself, Starsky. I mean, of course, England are going to win big time, like 20-0 or something. But it'd be really good if we can. He rolls his eyes. I don't know. Maybe we could do something about that. I don't know. I just literally noticed tonight, and I thought I might just pick up on it.
That'd be
kind of fun.
I can tell you this. Whatever reason is like football or whatever. The only thing I'm waiting the most is getting together with you guys and getting wasted. That's my biggest dream that I have.
Yes. Yeah. Oh, who knows? Maybe you can kick out Russia by that date. Who knows? You never know. And then we can all get plastered and watch football. What about that? Good. And howl at the moon and be drunk and do stupid stuff and things like that.
I don't know much about football, but I'm certainly up for the plastered part. Don't care what we watch.
Yeah,
Dave.
maybe if you win the war by March, we could go to yours for the football, and then you can come to ours in May for Eurovision. Oh, sorry, you won that. Sorry.
Yeah, we've already won that. They don't want to win it again another year, can they? No, they can't do that.
Probably will.
That would be great because, guys, I missed, I think, 2 Eurovisions because of freaking Russians. I remember I used to sign my rockets for the RPG. This is for missing Eurovision and shooting at Russians in 2017 and 2019.
That's great.
We'll add that to the list of war crimes. And
Yeah.
so many people missed Eurovision, and it's just, yeah.
What do you think, Dave? Why don't we turn to a couple of viewer questions here and see how everybody's thinking out there?
I also had a question just to
Oh, please.
Follow up.
Absolutely.
And I don't know if you guys talked about this. I was a little late, but so Starsky, you had said earlier about engineers sort of being heroes right now. People who are working on the electrical grid. So I was hoping A, you could talk a bit about that, and B, you could tell us if there were any other people that perhaps like electrical engineers who are maintaining or attempting to maintain the electrical system, any other sort of people now that are unsung and are really considered so important and contributing in ways that aren't normally thought of.
So currently, our electricians considered heroes in Ukraine, and we have like plenty of companies, plenty of let's say services, right? Local services with electricians who work 24/7, and of course, electricity is very important for Ukrainians because we have to, we want to stay connected with our relatives and friends, and we want to be able to, for example, Ukrainian kids in multiple cities are not able to study even remotely because they have no electricity and no connection. So yeah, it's a very interesting fact that our electric engineers became heroes for Ukrainians. We have plenty of social advertisements dedicated to them. Yeah, it's amazing.
I think once this war is over and Russia have gone back to where they belong, is the rebuilding of Ukraine. There's going to be more help needed than ever before in terms of tradespeople, builders, electricians, carpenters, bricklayers, all these kinds of things. And I think there's going to be, a massive response worldwide for those kind of skills to be brought to Ukraine, because we need them to be built up again, and we need them to join NATO, and we need them to be able to stand up even more to Russia if they do think of trying something like that again. Would be an even stronger Ukraine and a real deterrent. So yeah, I think coming forward, I think that's going to be a big thing for Ukraine.
Well, that actually brings up one other question I had for both Macmillan and Starsky. So we've talked a lot, we've heard a lot about what is Putin's end game, what's he trying to do, and it's there's been a lot of theories, but one of the ones that when this started and is now sort of kicking back up again is that Ukraine represents a strategic national interest in for Russia, not because they're even interested in capturing it. Sure, they'd love to have it, they'd love to conquer it, but because NATO membership was offered, at least unofficially, to Ukraine. If Ukraine became a member of NATO, that's something that Putin has said before he will not tolerate. So, what's the likelihood that the end game here isn't to conquer Ukraine, but to actually completely render it, utterly obliterated, so that it can't function in any meaningful way as a country or as a member of NATO? Is that a possibility? And if so, how do you fight that?
So in my opinion, this war is based on hatred, on ethnic hatred towards Ukrainians. That's why, and of course, Putin hates Ukrainians. One of the reasons why Putin hates Ukrainians is because he is known worldwide as Huilo. and there's even a Wikipedia page, I think, dedicated to this. So he will go down in history as Huilo, as a dickhead, right? And currently he is trying to bet everything he has, because he realizes that he cannot capture whole Ukraine, he cannot control whole Ukraine. But again, we see that he to him, capturing and annexing several territories, several regions in Ukraine were achievements, right? He was asked during a press conference, he was asked by some journalists regarding the results of this invasion, and he said, you saw those regions that were annexed, so those are results. And of course, another thing, just basically take a look at Russia, okay? And ask yourself, how come Russia became the biggest country in the world? Obviously not because all those territories and nations that eventually connected to Russia were, impressed by its rich culture and technologies and level of its civilization. No, because they were conquered. Basically, that's what Russians do for centuries. So that's another reason.
I think you're underestimating Matryoshka doll, those dolls that I think plenty of people would want to become part of Russia for those dolls. That's my view. It's a minority opinion, but they fit inside each other. Oh, what? Shut up now? Absolutely. Thank you.
Interesting, very much.
See how nobody
Let's see.
complained.
Yeah, no, I did notice that, Dave. Thank you. Yes.
Yeah, and maybe Commander has opinion on this.
Sure.
Mhm.
I've had to keep muting my mic because my dogs are having arguments. I agree with everything Starsky said. I think that we are overlooking two things, however. One, Putin is on record as saying that he believes the dissolution of the USSR was one of the greatest tragedies in history.
Yep.
And extending off of that, he's also of a group that similarly believe the fall of Imperial Russia was also a great tragedy, because each time they've lost territory, and the view of I hate to use the term paranoid, but I think it kind of applies here. A paranoid Russian is that you have the heartland, and then you have near core regions, and then you have buffer states, and then you have buffer states around those buffer states, and you keep extending this outward until essentially you control the whole globe, because you need buffer states to protect your buffer states against imaginary threats. And that's kind of what I think is part of going on in his mind, is that he's seeing this as a situation where Russia, having lost territory in the breakup of the Soviet Union, feels vulnerable, feels pressed in on all sides by potentially hostile powers. Now, the fact that those hostile powers are hostile is largely because of the way the Russians treated them when they were occupied, but that kind of is irrelevant in his worldview. And then you add to that the fact that Putin grew up as a child of the Cold War. He was a KGB officer, a senior KGB officer. Everything in that training creates a mindset where it's us against them. Those who are not on our side are potential enemies. Even our allies in the Warsaw Pact are potential enemies. We have to constantly watch everyone because, again, that paranoid mindset, everybody's out to get us. So I think a lot of what's going on in his mind is that to restore safety to the homeland, he has to restore the Soviet Union, and then he has to restore Imperial Russia, and then he has to, regain the border buffer states, and so on and so on. So I think
Yeah,
that's yeah. Go ahead, Cersei.
yeah, so I said I agree on that, and we all remember that they made a lot of reasons. They proclaimed, okay, a lot of reasons for invading Ukraine, from genetically modified birds to dirty bombs and mosquitoes and Nazis and stuff like that. But if you want to know the real reasons why they invaded, you gotta listen to Putin's speech days before invading Ukraine, where he basically said that they don't recognize Ukraine as an independent country. They don't recognize Ukrainians as a nation. They don't recognize our language as independent language, and our history and things like that. Basically, they said that we are what Nazi Germans would call Untermensch. We are low-level humans, right?
What's the word?
Secondary race.
What's the word that Russians have got for Ukrainians? Hogil or something? I don't know. It's quite a derogatory name. I know that.
Yeah, very much.
But they have that for every nation in the world. Basically.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
They have Pindosy for Americans. They have. They don't call Americans Yankee. They call them Pindosy. It's kind of they think it's funny. It's Churki for Asians or Middle Asians and things like that. There's a lot of those.
I just remember hearing that word, and then I remember somebody on a YouTube video saying that it was something derogatory, like almost not a direct translation, but almost meaning really sort of like, like underdog, almost like rat, like like exactly like you say with the Nazis, like Untermenschen. Almost like you're nothing but a rat, sort of thing. Same sort of means.
They have those derogatory names for every single nation in the world, and of course everybody else are Nazi except them. But as for Nazis, and I wanted to tell you this, guys. So whenever, like, it's every single conversation with Russians calling us Nazi. Every time when we ask, like, why are we Nazi? Okay. They basically say, well, because you are against Russians. There are, even if we're taking Azov, and I'm not talking about the Azov regiment, I'm talking about the Azov movement, far-right guys, but there are 0 registered cases in Ukraine, 0 registered cases of those guys beating up black people, Asian people, Jewish people. There were 0 cases of them physically attacking those people for, like, since 2014, okay, since the year they were formed. They never attacked people of other races, other religions, other ethnic groups. It never happened in Ukraine, and like, everybody knows that. So the only reason they are Nazi is because they are fighting against Russians. Right. And of course they have reasons to fight against Russians, right? Because Russians were invading Ukraine for centuries, and we were always fighting against them. And basically all people in Ukraine, and of course there are Nazi. There's as many Nazi as in any other country of the world, like the US, Canada, UK, and other countries. But people who recognize themselves as like right wing in Ukraine, 99% of those people are anti-Russian chauvinists. Okay, they are fighting against Russian chauvinism, and that's the basis for Ukrainian nationalism, basically.
I mean, I know for a fact that some of the Russian football teams, the so-called football hooligans or fan base or whatever, are ultra right-wing Nazis, and they worship Adolf Hitler. And it's quite funny because I keep thinking to myself, I wonder what they're thinking of what Putin's saying, that they're actually fighting Nazis in Ukraine. I wonder what they think. Are they fighting us? Bizarre. Yeah.
Nazi,
we should.
Nazi for the German, Nazi for the Russians is a very nebulous term.
Yeah,
and you have to be careful about throwing it around because you're kind of feeding into their stuff. So you have to be real careful with that. I think in their case, they're using the idea of Nazi, at least as it pertains to Ukraine right now, is merely these are people who will not bow down to Russia. Therefore,
Yeah, absolutely.
they're Nazis.
Absolutely.
Now, if
absolutely.
they were smart, they'd bow down to us. We are obviously the Ubermensch. You must worship us.
Right.
Commander, you are absolutely right. This is exactly what happens, and to Russians, like Russian recognize Ukrainians only if they bow down. If not, they're Nazi.
Yeah,
they're Nazi. They hate us. You know.
Now, I will point out, just to be completist here, from a historical perspective, there were a lot of Ukrainian collaborators with the Germans during the war, enough so that there were 2 SS divisions largely comprised of Ukrainians. But the Ukrainians were actually using the Germans to arm themselves in preparation for what was going to come after the war, because you look at the numbers of all those troops that were recruited into these units, and then you look at the number of people that kept deserting out of it, and it was basically, well, we're going to show up, they're going to train us, give us nice uniforms and weapons, and then we run into the forest, and the next group of Ukrainians comes in and does the same thing. But
that happened in a lot of European countries.
There
was support for the Nazis in all kinds of European countries, including the UK. That includes, including even French as well. French people were recruited into elite groups.
Swedish. There was a brigade largely of Swedes.
Yeah,
People
absolutely.
don't realize these things.
Yeah, all over.
We got to get in with some super chats here for sure. We've got quite a few built up now. We better get to them.
Yeah, I think we're probably better. Yeah, I'll start off. I'll leave the question ones just towards the end for Starsky to answer. I'll start off with that Indian dude for Australian $20. Thank you very much. He says, "Merry Christmas, Shill family and Starsky. As an aside, as a mixed martial arts fan, had to stop being a fan of some superb fighters hailing from Dagestan, Russia, especially Khabib, who started from Ukraine. Good point." Got Raven7 donated 20 Canadian. Just a quick thank you to all those who keep Ukraine and the fight for liberation at the forefront of the world. Stay well, everyone. Love from the UK. As a British guy, I'll repeat that. That's good. And there's one from our very own Sam. She's awesome. 20 New Zealand dollars. This one's from my mum, who says Merry Christmas to everyone on stream and always says "Go Ukraine" when I tell her that Ukraine hit a strategic location in Russia. Awesome. That's excellent. That's really good. So yeah, you've got a couple of question ones as well. One more though before that, from AK Cryat 74, a member for 1 month. Thank you very much for your support for $10. Damn good to see you settled, Starsky, and connected again. Hope you can get all the sleep you can get when you can. Slava Ukraini and here I am, Slava. So Rad77, new member for £2. I'm glad he didn't say this in Polish because I haven't got a hope in hell. He says, "Can you speak Polish?" That's the first question. And another question we got from Deepal Pal for $2. Starsky, Ohio State or Georgia prediction? So those are the two questions. So we've got one about can you speak Polish, and also we've got a prediction about Ohio State or Georgia, whatever that is.
What was the second question, please?
Ohio State or Georgia. I'm not sure. Do you know anything about that? I don't know what that's
It sounds
about.
like sounds to me like American university football.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm not an expert in American university football at all, unfortunately. Yeah. As for Polish, трошки розмовляем по-польsku.
Of course you can.
Show
Jeden
off.
rok mieszkałem w Warszawie. Piękne miasto, naprawdę. Dziękuję bardzo.
Но это потому, что ты можешь разговаривать русский язык. Если ты можешь разговаривать русский язык, ты можешь понимать полярский. Да? Может быть? Немного?
Not really,
Yeah.
because usually Russians don't understand other Slavic languages for some reason.
Well, maybe not Russians, but if you speak, I mean, if you speak Russian, usually you can get along with it. You can at least understand some of those other languages, I would assume.
Right,
Some random words, I would
Yeah.
say.
Right, Rad77. From now on in, keep posting your stuff in Polish, and we get one of these two to read it out from now on in. Okay?
Yeah.
It's fine.
Yeah. And one of the things that, again, our military intelligence were talking a lot about it. There are numerous cases of Russians creating provocations on the territory of Poland and Ukraine, trying to destroy our friendship, basically. Because currently Ukraine and Poland are probably two closest allies since 2014. I would say even since 2013, when we had Revolution of Dignity in Ukraine, and Polish people were our biggest supporters in the Europe, and currently Russians do everything they can to ruin our friendship. By creating different provocations, by bringing up, those horrible pages that we had in our history years ago, and we always have to pay attention to this, and we must understand why it happens, because Russians understand that it will be beneficial for them if Ukraine and Poland stop being allies. But fortunately, I think it will never happen.
Can't see it. Makes sense. Why anybody want to stop?
One of the funny things I heard recently was it's amazing how much Polish military equipment is getting lost along the border with Ukraine, and at the same time, how much military equipment is just being found abandoned in fields inside the Ukrainian border next to Poland.
Oh, that's awesome. Oh, that's too funny. We have a couple of more super chats in, so why don't we go right over to M again?
Yeah, sure, no problem. Yeah, we've got one from ZomG1103 for $10. This is about random. Starsky was wondering if your ants hibernate for the winter, or are they still active throughout? Do you want to answer that one first before we go to the next one? Something about ants.
Yeah, so my ants didn't hibernate last year because it was warm in my apartment. But those species of ants, that specific kind of ants, they usually do in winter. But this winter, because it was cold, they went into hibernation.
Oh, you keeping ants, aren't you, in a little nest or something? Or I assume. That's okay. Anyway, you've got another one from Mr. E-Man for $20 Australian. I still have not seen any Bushmasters in action. I've heard an intercepted discussion about them. The brave and capable people operating it must have made an impact. Best wishes to all at this time. So, yeah, have you seen any Bushmasters in operation in Ukraine?
Not in my brigade. Not in my brigade. My brigade usually operates different like military armored vehicles, mostly Ukrainian made. Majority of those vehicles go directly to the armed forces of Ukraine. My brigade, even though we are attached to armed forces of Ukraine, but we are still under the Ministry of Interior, and we are supplied by Ministry of Interior. So we are two different structures, but doing the same job, basically. And even despite the fact that we are one of the few mechanized brigades within National Guard, because again, National Guard of Ukraine has many different units doing different jobs, from escorting convicts to public security and things like that, to basically fighting on the front line. But still, majority of vehicles we have are built in Ukraine, like Varta, Kozak, BTRs, and things like that.
Cool.
I mean, I watch quite a lot of videos coming out for Ukraine and things like that, and I did see a clip of a convoy and what looked like at least a couple of Bushmasters, but I could be wrong. I'm not an expert. I am fairly familiar with that vehicle.
Yeah,
so,
I've definitely seen one clip of a Bushmaster.
Yeah.
In operation.
I know that Ukrainian airborne troops mostly operate Humvees. They have a lot of those, and they had them back in 2015, I guess, probably even before the start of the war. They had a lot of those, and for some reason, I don't know, they like Humvees so much.
Yeah,
Humvees are not that well armored, though, are they? Are they particularly great armored? I know they don't stand up to things like roadside mines and AEDs very well, though. But I guess they're quite quick, are they? I guess I don't know much about them.
I think the big thing that people have always liked about them is that they're quite reliable. They're fairly rugged. They have surprisingly good cross-country capability, and they have a decent cargo carrying capacity.
And I think you can modify them, so you can like add armor to the base of them to insulate.
Yeah, but it's only proof against low caliber small arms. If you're shooting 50 cal or above, it's it's going to go right through like butter.
Right. We've just got one more super chat actually from Rad77. He's actually just said it in Polish. Now I've got to go and translate it because I
put it in the Google Meets chat for anybody here that can speak Polish. It's in the we can get somebody to do this one properly here, and I'll screw it right up. And there's no chance in hell.
If not, I've got a translation for it now. If you can't see it, it's not a problem. Okay, well, I'll just say it in English then. So, what do you think about Polish lightning bolts? Whatever that is. Polish lightning bolts. What do you think?
Nie bardzo rozumiem, o co chodzi. Przepraszam. Pioruny, co to jest?
I agree.
I just,
maybe that was lost in translation. Maybe I don't know.
Con mucho gusto.
No, it's just maybe I missed something. Again, I didn't speak Polish for quite a while.
Yeah, I mean, I just used Google Translate, so I don't know. Maybe it's not translated it very well, but it's translated as Polish lightning bolts. No idea.
I wonder if that's if that's a cultural reference.
Either that or maybe a piece of military slang.
Guys, I think he was talking about man pads, Perun, basically.
Ah, okay.
Because we had Soviet Igla anti-aircraft missiles, and then there's a Polish version of this Mipet called Perun. Unfortunately, I'm not an expert. The only thing I ever shot flying was a drone belonging to a friendly unit. That's why I'm not a big expert in missiles, unfortunately. But from what I know, I think my guys are using those. I gotta ask them.
Cool. We had one more super chat sneak in there, Matt. If you want to grab that.
Yeah, I shall grab that. Yeah, we've got another one from Indian guy. And he says from Australia, $20 Australian. Thank you very much, very generous. All these super chats coming in, they're absolutely awesome. But he says, I saw Mr. Dmitry Kuliba. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right. Talking to an Indian news channel, arguing India to stop buying discounted oil. Sorry, unfortunately, the ruling Indian government are fools. Secondly, buying discounted Russian oil is quite popular electorally. So sorry about my my reading of that. I got a bit wrong. Did you catch all that? I'll read it again if you need me.
But again, unfortunately, I'm just a military. I think Jake Bro knows better about Indian-Russian relations.
I think a large part of what's going on there is that Modi is an Indian right-wing nationalist, and so he feels a certain degree of affinity, I think, for the Russians. So if he can get cheap oil and remain on their good side, and got to remember a significant portion of the Indian army is equipped with Russian equipment, it's probably all to the good for him.
Yeah, very much. We had another super chat come in there, Matt. I just got it all sorted out for you there. Oh, is he away maybe? We might have him away for a minute.
Okay. Sorry. I was just trying to find my mute button. I was getting my tabs mixed up there for a minute. I'm sorry about that. Very unprofessional. So we got another super chat, as you said, from Zomg1103 for $5. Thank you very much once again. Starsky, can you elaborate on all the smoking accidents that have plagued Russia? Seems like people can't stop smoking around flammable materials.
Well, what can I say? I think smoking is bad.
Very bad.
But smoking is extremely bad for Russians, because if smoke can kill a person, then in case this person is Russian, this person blows up to pieces. So I think they should consider this. Probably it's because, they drink a lot of vodka, and spirit is highly flammable and can explode. Maybe that's the reason. But it happens a lot. Also, karma plays a big role in this.
So maybe you should encourage more Russian soldiers to drink more vodka, and they'll just become, flammable. So if they go anywhere near anything hot, they can just instantaneously combust. That'd be kind of ideal.
Just keep repeating the word spontaneous human combustion, and your dreams will be realized.
Don't forget to click your heels.
Yeah, we just had a few more come in. So we just got a new member from Pollinatrix. Welcome to the Shell Apprentice. Very much welcome. Thank you very much. Oh God, please, Rad, can you stop sending these Polish ones? Rad 77.
No, hold on. I put Rad 77 Polish one in the in-call messages in Google Meets. So Starsky or Nick can grab it. Yeah.
Great, excellent. Okay, so I'll just read the last one from Neuropilot for $2. Thank you very much. Merry Christmas, Starsky and the Shills. Thank you very much, Neuropilot. Merry Christmas to you too.
Yeah, big Merry Christmas indeed. Did anybody who can read Polish see that chat?
Yes. So Rad asks about Crab artillery systems that were delivered to Ukraine. and I can say that they were very, very helpful. I think I don't remember the total number that were delivered to Ukrainian armed forces. Again, unfortunately, the only artillery system that my brigade used was M777. We had a couple of those. We kind of rented them, okay? We had to return them, but they were amazing. And our guys learned how to operate M777s in like couple hours. They just Googled the manual, and they did it in the field. As for crabs, I cannot tell you much. Again, I'm not artillerist, unfortunately. But I can say that they helped us big time in terms of equalizing the number of artillery in Ukrainian armed forces versus Russians.
Well, I have crabs, but that's another story. Oh, sorry, I'll be quiet.
Nick, I was wondering about your time frame and how long you got, and if you wanted to jump in and get a few things out before you have to run on us.
Oh, I appreciate that. I do need to bail. The family just got back, and we're gonna start doing our Thanksgiving cooking and our traditional grasshopper pie and all the other things that have absolutely nothing to do with Christmas, but we do anyway. But I wanted to just say thank you guys so much for having me on. I always appreciate being on here. So thank you. Good to see all of you again. Good to see Starsky, McMillan, Dick, and even Dave.
Love you, babe.
Love you too, bro. As much as I'm loath to admit it, but good to see you all. Thank you all so much. Everyone remember to like and subscribe. It helps in the algorithm. It helps, and as a fellow YouTuber, demonetization is always looming overhead. Getting the channel struck is looming overhead. They shouldn't count likes in that. They shouldn't sit there and say, "Oh, it's a successful channel, so we'll let them get away with it." But that's exactly what they do. So support the show, and you're going to make sure that it comes back more often. My show's on in time. You can find the link down at the bottom here. It's in the description. But thank you all so much. And have everyone please have a delightful holiday. Make sure you all take some time out for yourselves and take good care. Thank you guys so much for having me on. I appreciate it.
Merry Christmas, buddy. See you soon, pal.
You too.
Yeah, In Time is kind of like a sister channel to the Shills these days, Pretty tight little group. Love it. So, we're coming close on time. We don't want to be the ones specifically responsible for the good operator Starsky not getting enough sleep. And we have done it many times in the past to him.
Yeah, he's yawning. Look at it.
Yeah. So, why don't we just go around the table once and, say our piece, and we'll give a big Merry Christmas shout out to everybody and wrap it up.
We've got a couple of super chats that have come in at the last minute there. Should we get those tidied up before we do that, or what do you think?
Perfect idea.
Yep,
you're a step ahead of me.
No problem. Got another one from Zomg1103. Thank you very much again for $5. Please tell me you saw the footage of the Russian tank that had its crew killed, but the tank itself was still running and making donuts in a field. Awesome. I haven't seen that one. That must be great. And from the Sun Express, $10. Starsky annexed Denny's Davidov hideout. All hail Patriot. All hail the Himars. Huzzah! Yeah, I agree totally. But yeah, the footage of the Russian tank where the crew killed and it's doing donuts. Anybody seen that at all? I haven't myself, but yeah, that would be really cool.
Yeah.
Guys, that can happen. So I can tell you this: inside of tank, there's usually plenty of equipment that is attached, screwed to the interior of the tank. If there's some kind of impact, this equipment, which weighs a lot of kilograms, it can just get turned. torn from the walls, from the interior, and fly around, killing everybody inside. It happens a lot, and it's not mandatory for tank to burn and blow up, but its crew can be killed by all that equipment, the sights, and everything that is attached to the interior of the tank. One of the tank crew members told me that, basically. So that could happen, of course. The tank driver basically could be killed or unconscious by this. Probably killed. I believe he was killed. I like to believe so. Yeah, and the tank was the tank's engine and systems were completely intact. So
That's funny.
And we just had a couple more come in, I think, haven't we, Dick?
Yes, we have.
Yeah. Should we get those out of the way?
Yeah, well,
And we
let's. From Miriam Ward, there's New Zealand $50, and then from there, I'm turning to Starsky. It's in the meets chat there, Starsky. It's I just there's no way I can do that.
Good morning from New Zealand. Happy Merry Christmas to Starsky. Love and hugs to you, and bark to Fuch. Glory to Ukraine.
Oh,
thank you so much.
And a bark
you,
to
man.
fudge. That's awesome. Nice one, Miriam Ward. Love it. And then I do believe Matt's got the rest under control.
yeah, I can do English, only just about, mind you, so I could do this one. Ponanetrix, new member for Canadian $7.50, $7.50 that is. Ukraine Defense, thank you video to Canada on Twitter.
Oh yes.
It was brilliant. BTO, Bob and Doug, and long underwear. I laughed my head off. I haven't seen that. Well, can somebody explain that?
Oh, we played it a couple weeks back, and we had to mute the audio. We did get a total copyright claim on it, but it was just this unbelievably well put together video. It was so cool. Oh yeah, it was awesome. I'll dig it up and get the link in our Discord in the Ukraine news slot so everybody can check it out.
And as for Denis Davidov, I think that previously he made video with such background. Oh my God, I can tell everybody that I occupied his old apartment.
Yeah. Nobody would know.
Did we get them all then? I was
that's it, isn't it?
Yeah, well, did we get the Sun Express?
Yes, we did. Yeah, we got that one.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, I was multitasking beyond my ability to, so I got totally lost and had no idea. Okay, we're going to get into wrap-up mode, so let's go to Commander McMillan. Thoughts and ponderings for our end-of-show little wrap-up.
Nothing significant. I think we've talked about most of the stuff we need to do. I'm very curious to see what will happen, not in the next couple of weeks, but rather in the next couple of months. I think it's going to take that long for the ground to stabilize and for logistics to be staged and forces to be moved around. The one question I would have for Starsky, which I know I've asked him before, but it still leaves me baffled why it's happening. What the hell is so damned important about Bakhmut? They're just like, yeah, let's see if we can kill off an entire generation trying to take this one relatively meaningless little town. I do not understand it.
They need at least some victory. Basically, currently they can only develop their attacks in 3 directions. It's Avdiivka, it's Bakhmut. Basically 2 directions, Avdiivka and Bakhmut. And comparing to what they had like in March, okay, it's a completely different picture. They lost almost all the territories they
Oh, yeah.
captured
Yeah.
previously, and they need at least some victory. And Putin is ready to go all in, to bet everything he has on conquering Bakhmut. And because they understand that they cannot do that, they returned to their old tactics, which is basically destroying the whole city using their artillery and missiles and aviation.
And do what they did to Grozny. Yeah.
Yeah, the same thing they did to Rubizhne and Severodonetsk.
Yep. Madness. That's it for me, Dick.
Alrighty then. Let's see. We'll go to Dave for some thoughts and wrap-ups there on the day's activities.
Sure thing. It's great to have the band back together, don't you think? Isn't this fun? I won't be around next week for New Year's Eve, so I wanted to ask now, Starsky, do you have any predictions for 2023 beyond just simply winning the war?
My prediction for winning the war is 2024, but don't bet your money on it. 2023, yes, I hope that we will win this war in a couple of months. It's optimistic, I know. I dream of finishing this war tomorrow, basically.
Yes.
I dream about it for already 300 days, and I keep dreaming about it. I don't think I'm good at predicting, I'm not trying to predict anything these days. But we'll be doing our best to bring our victory closer to us.
Oh, for sure. I'm going to turn to M2M, and there is a super chat in, but it's one for Starsky to read out. So if Starsky can grab that super chat in the meets there, Rad77 again there. Love you, Rad. Great stuff. Coming up for you?
Yes, but I completely lost my ability to speak Polish.
In English.
Should we? Yeah, well, let's run it. Let's run it through the translator here.
You doing that? Dick?
Yes.
You got
I am said translator.
I'm having issues with my Chrome browser here, and I'm a little nervous to click any further because things might literally crash on us. Somebody else is going to have to do the translate on that.
Yeah, I got it now. I'll do that now. 1 second.
Okay.
1 second.
All right.
I recognize one word in there as Ukraine. That's about all I can know.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah,
Starsky at the end. Yeah.
Yeah, I think I gotta practice Polish language more, because in the end I will have to drink with big number of Polish people.
Oh, yes. Yes. That is damn good thinking. Get practice now so you can,
I think he's just saying Victor Ukraine and something about, I'm not quite sure what that word is, Pozdron or Starsky, something like that. I don't know.
Yeah.
Sure.
There might be a missing space. Yeah.
Yeah.
Pozdron is the word. Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. All right. We got it. Awesome. Okay. Great super chat there, Rad. Making us work for it. That's for sure. So where were we, Matt?
Yeah.
You were going to give wrap ups, right?
Yeah. Only really just say thank you very much to everybody in the chat and all these super chats. Some very, very generous ones. Thank you very, very, very much. And yeah, thank you to everybody. It's great to see Starsky in sort of more secure, at least internet. And I know he's on Starlink now, which is awesome. Thank you, Elon, despite of where everybody thinks of him. So we were up and running. So yeah, great to see you back, Starsky, and thank you very much to everybody.
All right. And I'll say Merry Christmas, everybody. Slava Ukraini. And let's do everything we can to help support them big time and get this out of the way and done so Ukraine can be the sovereign nation it should be. Starsky, last words, buddy. Take us home.
I was very, very happy to see you guys. I missed you.
Oh, yeah, buddy.
This month, I think. And I want to say big thanks to everybody who supports Ukraine. Oraz dziękuję bardzo wszystkim Polakom. Walczymy razem za naszą i waszą wolność. Dziękuję bardzo.
Yeah, I agree.
Awesome. Awesome. So remember, everybody, you got to get out there. You got to urge your local politicians and so on and so forth to keep supporting Ukraine as hard as possible. Do what you can because it does make a difference. Slava Ukraini, everybody. Keep them in your hearts over the holiday season. Good night from us, everybody. Did I hit the button? Goodbye.
It's over. Go home.